Hello, my darlings again. I'm Mumsy here, and I'm having awful trouble trying to tune this radio poddy thing in for you. Just bear with me. Hello.
So what's today's episode about? Well, I'll tell you what it's going to be talking about. It's your heads up as usual. And it's all about goals, but not goal setting. It's looking at the goals that sometimes we let go of. And we really wanted them to happen. And we don't know why they didn't happen. But all we know is, well, there was no follow through. And Paul now is going to discuss and give you some thoughts and a few things maybe to think about to get those goals back on track. Or make sure that when you set your own goals, the new ones, to set them in such a way that it comes from a place of pure belief in yourself. Okay? So, have a little listen, but you won't be wrong if you do. Okay? Bye-bye.
Hello, my darlings. Apparently, it's time for Mumsy's big shout-out! Hello, my darlings. Mumsy here again. And apparently Paul wants me to do a shouty-outy thing, and for you to become part of Mumsy's crew, I think he said. Or was it posse? Or maybe you're going to join me and become one of Mumsy's on the mat tribe. I don't know which. But anyway, here's the first shout-out for the people who have shared this poddy-waddy thing that he does, and also send a twitty twat on that twitty twat thing he does on is it social media? So if you share one of these piddy poddies on twitty twat or that Fastbook, or even send him an email and things like that, I'll give you a lovely shout out. So here's the first one. Now, we've got Kit. She's a lovely lady. And she's there. And there's Melvin. Melvin, he's been here for, seems just like ages on the mat. And there's a lovely man called John D.D. I won't say his whole name because apparently you have to keep these things very, very private. But anyway, they're the first three people on Mumsy's mat tribe. Or they're part of my posse crew thing song. Anyway, back to Paul. But that was a lovely shouty-outy thing, wasn't it? I do enjoy these things and taking part and things. Okay, back to Paulie now.
Personal development, unplugged. Hiya, and today I want you to think. Yep, to think. Do you ever wonder why your goals aren't being met, or your dreams are never quite being realized? You see, I know from looking at some of the analytics from the episodes here that so many of you are interested in goals, wishes, maybe even the law of attraction, who knows. But certainly there's a great deal of interest. And I'm not surprised, because that's what personal development is all about, isn't it? It's setting our dreams, setting our goals, and then making ourselves in the best possible place so these dreams and goals can be realized. But then when they don't, you've tried your best and it just doesn't seem to happen. So why is that? Now, one of the things, it was going through my head because I was wondering about this. And have you wondered, well, whose dreams, goals, wishes, whose are they? Were they yours to start off with? And I don't know, you see, because why do some goals come so blooming easy? I know I've had it before, just out of the blue. I've had this intuition. I've gone, wow, that's a brilliant thing. I really want that. I've made it bigger. I've taken massive action and I've done all the steps of success and had a brilliant thing happen all out of the blue. And that made me wonder. You see, I think I've told you in the past that one of my goals as a young Paul was to be a comic artist. for DC Comics, you know, Superman, Spider-Man and all that stuff. I really wanted to become an artist. And I think I was reasonably good. I'm not going to go any better than that, reasonably good. But it still was my dream. And, you know, obviously it didn't happen because, well, I didn't pursue that dream. And I have to sit back now and think why? Why didn't I see it? And even now, you see, when I go through, you see those comic magazine books? No, rewind, but when you see those shops, or when I see those shops with those comic magazines in, my heart still jumps and I look at the pictures and the art and I go, wow, this is absolutely brilliant. And you see, from there on, as I got older, I still enjoyed drawing. Didn't take it much further than that. I did a few art classes in the evening, but again, enjoyed it, but never quite pushed it through. Then I went on to airbrush painting and was reasonably successful in some of the pictures I did, you know. And then I've got a little bit of watercolor painting, and each one I've got to a particular point and stopped. Yet something in my heart still goes, oh, I wish I could, but I wonder whose belief I'm following. Or the other thing is, whose belief am I using to not follow through? You know, it could be parents, it could be teachers, it could be people who are saying, well, you know, you never make it. You'll only be disappointed. The competition's too tough. And they're all said with the very, very best intentions. But where did their beliefs come from? How do they know? But because they're in a place of respect, and you're like a young sponge of information coming through, then you take those beliefs on without criticism and without any critical thought at all. So that could be why. I don't know. I've got to think about that a bit deeper. But you see, I've got, again, in the reverse. Even though I started a job that I had no idea where it was going to go to, I got involved with it. It's in the building industry, and I was a quantity surveyor. And in that, I decided I would set myself some targets. And the targets would be, I wanted to be a surveyor, working qualified good surveyor, the best surveyor I could be and the best surveyor around by the age of 20. Well, in fact, it was like 24-ish, because I knew you had to have a period of school, and then you had the period or college, and then experience in doing that. So about that. And I exceeded that, because I actually got at 20, I was doing the business. And then I set my target as being, well, I want to be the best senior quantity surveyor. And I wanted to be the best senior quantity surveyor by the age of 30. Easily. Because I saw people who were 30 plus and they still weren't senior surveyors, and they were getting it by age, not by experience or deed or skill. And I did that by 27. And then by 30, I was the director of that company. And it was a big company. And they were my own dreams, my own goals. And I had no input from anybody. It was just me. Now, why would I succeed in those goals and maybe not the others? Something to think about. Also, another example is my youngest son, Joseph. And he tells this story a lot of times, because it's his own personal story. Because when he was just about to go to senior school in his primary school, he was asked to stand up in front of the class and answer a particular question. I think it was to do with mathematics. And the teacher said, well, if you don't know the answer to this, you'll never make it. You'll never make it in school. You'll never succeed in anything. And best intentions in the world to try to get him to motivate him to the end, it had the reverse effect. He closed down. He got embarrassed. He blushed. And he became very introvert. Confidence was knocked from him. And it wasn't until about the age of 17, it was 17, where he's not getting what he really wanted to do in life. I sent him on a course just to experience hypnosis, learn hypnosis, thinking that this was my belief that if you're in hypnosis enough times in a week around some really nice people, inspiration will come to you. It did. he wanted to be a hypnotist. Now, I should have got that one. I didn't see it because that's what happened to me when I went. And from there, he has beaten every goal I think that he's ever had. He was dealing with clients at the age of 18, 19. And we were having to make excuses in some ways for his age. But his skill far outshone his age. And the rest is history. So, what do we do? What do we do when we think about this? When we think about our dreams and we notice they're not quite working? Well, I think you need to get out a Jenny journal. Because as you know, if you just think about things and then you move on to something else or something just interrupts you, those thoughts can disappear. And I don't want those thoughts to disappear. I want you to really work through this. So writing them down in our Jenny journal, you'll begin to notice things. And you can ask yourself things like, notice the beliefs that you have around those dreams, around those wishes and around those goals. And what's going on? Now, maybe there is a belief just below the surface that even though you really want this goal, maybe you believe it's not for you for whatever reason. Now, I'm going to go through some of those other reasons in a minute, but it might be just that, it just doesn't feel right. So you could even ask the question, is this the right thing to do? And if you get the answer, well, everyone tells me it's not. Well, who's everyone? Who says so? And how the blooming hell do they know? What has given them that belief? Now, as you notice those beliefs behind these wishes, these dreams, these goals, and especially sometimes the wishes, the dreams and goals that you haven't moved on, you haven't even taken, you might just start to think, well, like I was told, it's too competitive. Well, when it came down to the other period of work for me, competition didn't matter. I was going to be top dog. I was going to be the best I could be and as better than anybody I could see. You might have some words come to you, things like, well, you'll only fail. And that blooming one that gets me every time I hear people say, when you're not good enough, which then translates to I'm not good enough, which then becomes an identity. Now, where the hell did all these did these beliefs come from? Where did they come from? Now, they could have come from people, family, friends, colleagues, and we have to ask the question, how do they know? They're not you. Do they have the same skills? Do they have the same interests? Do they have the passion, the desire? Because if you've got the passion and desire, maybe that you could actually do it with the right belief. Now, it could be you start to look for counterexamples in your life. Where have, first of all, other people in the world, other examples, and you've got the internet, you've got the news, you've got books, you've got autobiographies, you've got a wealth of information about people who have succeeded. And generally the people who really succeed, when you see their story, they had the most crappiest time at the beginning, and they really had to fight through that. They weren't given it on a silver spoon. They had to create that silver spoon for themselves. The only thing you see, though, is that external bit at the end, and you go, look at them. They've got it. They've got money. They've got fame. They've got, everything that goal, that dream was going to provide. Well, maybe you didn't see all the steps along the way. But the thing is, they did have adversity, but they had passion, they had a vision, and they had the belief they could do it. And if they can do it, damn right you can too, because they are ordinary people. But the term is ordinary people doing extraordinary things. And guess what? That's you. You can do that. I bloody know it. So, look for counterexamples outside. And then, when you start to get this and get the theme of these examples, look for the counterexamples in your life, where you've done something which you didn't think was possible. Or maybe you were told that it isn't possible, and you bloody well did it. Now, what beliefs did you have about yourself? What beliefs did those other people have about themselves? Maybe, I know Tony Robbins has the belief that there's always a way. and I'll find that way. But there's always a way. This too will pass, and there's always a way. And that got him through some massive negative areas or times in his life to rebuild and make a most wonderful world for himself, but also the effect on others that he has. He has affected millions of people, and mainly because of that belief. There's always a way. I'll find that way. You know, because if you think about it, you need to have your dream. But if you were driving along at night in a car, you got the map, you know where you're going, you've got a few directions, but when you look out that windscreen and you're driving, those lights only show you so much of the road. You can put them on full beam and see a little bit further, but you can only see to the end of that distance of the lights. And that distance is minuscule compared to the distance from your destination. Now, but you carry on, don't you? Because as you move on, you keep seeing more and more and more. And when you're driving a car and you've got the map, well, you know you're going to get there. You might have a few diversions, but you don't suddenly go, oh no, there's some roadworks, I've got to go home and I'm going to cry. No, you take a detour. You work it out. Well, isn't that what we do? Because you just know you're going to get there. And there's also this story, and it's my story. I've told it so many times, and I'm going to tell it to you again. But it's only, I'll cut it down for you. It's me and one of my best friends out for a walk. And one of my bestest friends in the world was Howie. I say was because, bless him, Howie is no longer with me. He's in that wonderful, well, he's with all my other dogs in the sky, somewhere up in heaven. I know he's in heaven with my other wonderful dogs. But Howie was a special dog in his own special way. And we would go for walks. And as we went on a walk, we would always stop by a field with a gate. Big 5-bar gate. And we'd lean on that gate. Howie would sit beside me, look at me and go, and I knew what he was saying. I could read his mind. I could hear his voice inside me saying, okay, why are we watching these horses again? Because there were these horses in this field and they had an electric fence around them. And it was just buzzing. And the horses didn't go anywhere near the fence because it was buzzing, and they stayed there. And Howie said, come on, Paul, we look here every day, and the field is still got the buzzing, and the horses are in the middle. And the horses, I know, they're looking over at the field on the other side, which is always greener, but they don't do anything. So what are we doing? And then we go for a walk, which made Howie pleased. And then the next day we go for a walk, and we come to the 5-bar gate, sit down, and Howie would go, oh, all right, let's have a look now. But you see, this day, it was quiet. You would hear the rustle of the wind in the leaves. And the trees would just sway. And even the grass on the other side, because it was longer, was swaying, like you get like the sea. Yet, there was no sound of the buzzing. It was quiet, silent. And the reason was, it had come undone in the middle of the field, between the two fields. And it was just a big gap now between one field and the other. Yet those horses still stayed in the middle of that field. They didn't go to the other one. They just stayed there until, and this is how he said to me, you want to watch this? This could be interesting, You watch that horse over there. And I did. And as I watched that horse, this horse slowly walked up to the gap and then did the most gigantic jump, about 14 foot in the air, but only 1 foot long. But it landed the other side of that line of where the old fence used to be. He was in the new field with all that wonderful grass. And he ran round that field. If you've ever seen a horse running with sheer delight, bucking and neighing, and old Harry was there saying, I told you, I don't know why you don't listen to me more often. And I should do, really. And I should have done. But he still talks to me. But anyway, that's me and my voices. Anyway, as he was running around, this horse there is not Howie. The other horses saw him, and they went too. And they all followed him. But the thing is, that one horse, he had the dream. He had the dream of being in that new place, being able to run free. And then he must have had the belief, didn't he, to make that jump. He didn't take any notice of the other horses, who were just going to stay behind until they saw him. Now, how he saw it. He saw the message. I got it eventually. And well, are you going to be that leader? That person who sees an opportunity and believes they can make it? Because at the end of the day, what's the worst that can happen? Joy, love, passion, being on your mission, following your vision. All these things come from just creating a dream, creating a goal, following those wishes, allowing them to become dreams and goals, and then going on to the next one after that and the next one after that. All because you looked at those beliefs that maybe were holding you back. And this is not to say that every dream, every goal, when you look at them, maybe they're not right for you. But it's only when you start thinking for yourself and looking at the beliefs you have and what's it going to get you, and think and consider. You may change your mind. You may have another direction, but it'll be because you've thought about it, and it'll still be yours. So, nothing is going to stop you. Nothing at all. Said it before. Whatever and whoever you think you are, you're more than that. And as you think of that, you're more than that, because I know. That's a Cluffy guarantee. Old Personal Development Unplugged guarantee. So you can just have that and keep it. And I'm going to go away now and start to think about those comic books, those paintings, those drawings. And I'm going to do my little bit in my Jenny journal, and we'll see where we go. Anyway, I really hope you enjoyed that. And I just know that you're going to succeed in every goal that you choose to put your belief into. So enjoy, have more fun than you can stand, and just know your unconscious mind is going to be with you. Your best friend, supporting you, guiding you, allowing you to access all the resources you ever need, because they're inside you with abundance. And the blooming thing about abundance is, take a big load of it, and there's twice as much left than you first started. It's a bugger, but there you go. So set your intention, set your state, have a bit of love in there as well, and you are going to create masses of goodness. And then we'll do what we always say, share it. Share it in that generative field of learning, and then we can all bathe in your glory. So shine the light and let it reflect wherever you want it to go. Enjoy. Hey, and just before you go, if you spare a moment, just a short reminder that, our friends don't always tell us how they're feeling. And it may be a great thing to do that just share this podcast, or if you know of a podcast which they would appreciate, it'd be really good. And if you really want to get every single episode of the PDU, Personal Development Unplugged podcast, just go to iTunes and subscribe. There's a subscribe button there, and it'll come on your device with every new episode. And there's probably 2 a week. I've done 2 a week for a long time now. And if you're really, 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 really feeling kind, if you feel that kind, you could just leave a review in that place where it says reviews, which is a good place to put a review. If you're interested in finding out a bit more what I do, maybe working or whatever, you can see all the type of things I do on my website, paulclough.co.uk. There's also paulcloughonline.com, where I do my personal development programs and hypnosis tracks, things that are not here. And if you really want to ask me a question, well, paul@paulclough.co.uk, that's my email. Okay, I look forward to hearing from you, seeing you, speaking with you, and enjoy your day. Have more fun than you can stand, wallow in happiness, and shine brightly. Bye-bye now. Personal development, unplugged.